This on? Oh, yeah. Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call the HRC meeting to order. January 7th, 6 p.m., 2025. Happy New Year, everyone. Let's call the meeting to order. The Historic Resources Commission is charged with promoting, enhancing, and preserving the character of the historic district, as well as landmarks, including the Courthouse Square Historic District. The commission has a quasi-judicial role. The commission hears evidence, determines relevant facts, and then applies the law as it concerns the exterior changes to or demolition of any properties, as well as any new construction in the district. When speaking to the commission, please stand, speak slowly and clearly into the microphone, and state your name and your address for the recorded record. Please be respectful to others and refrain from disruptions during the meeting, and refrain from conversation with others in the audience, as the microphones are very sensitive and can pick up whispers in the back of the room. Please silence all your cellular phones. Let me call roll for today, this evening. Jim Young.
Present.
Ben Bieshausen.
Present.
Zipporah Clark Baldwin is absent. My name is Karen Chin. I'll be chairing the meeting this evening in Zipporah's absence. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's have a minute of silence before we get started. Thank you. We need to adopt the minutes. We'll now consider the minutes for the December 3rd, 2024 meeting of HRC. These minutes were tabled during the October meeting. Are there any other corrections from the commission? If not, do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I move we accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next item we have is a public hearing, which is presenting a certificate of appropriateness. We'll now begin the evidentiary hearings for the items listed on the agenda. As a quasi-judicial proceeding, the HRC is not setting policy, nor are we soliciting public opinion on the desirability of any application. The HRC hears and considers evidence presented and applies the standards set forth in the guidelines and the standards of the specific historic district for that application. The HRC must make its decision upon competent material and substantial evidence to determine the facts of the hearing. The HRC will use judgment and discretion to apply the standards contained in the relevant guidelines for the application. The commissioners, in voting for an item, shall not have a fixed opinion, not susceptible to change, nor have a conflict of interest, nor have engaged in any ex parte communication regardless of the application. The meeting is open to the public, but participation is limited to those parties with standings to participate who wish to provide comment, testimony, or testimony regarding the proposal. If you will be speaking as a witness, please focus on the facts and how they relate to the relevant historic district standards and guidelines, not personal preference, hearsay, or opinion. I now move to open the public hearing. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're now in a public hearing for the COA, the Certificate of Appropriateness, number 2420. Evan, will you give us any information from the staff?
Yes, ma'am, I'd be happy to. So this is an application for some exterior painting at 129 West Hardin Street. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the property. It is that corner property that used to be a service station. It very clearly was a service station at some point. And they are looking to repaint it in those colors provided to you in your packet. Those are not a part of the Sherwin-Williams historic palette, and that is all that I can approve on staff level. So anything outside of that kind of just falls to you guys for your decision. And those are the colors right there. And as far as exterior colors mentioned in the handbook. You've got some notes there that are directly from the handbook for you to check in on as you're looking over this application, but I'll let the applicant come up and speak about placement and kind of their point of view and let you guys get any questions you need, unless you have any questions for me.
No.
Okay.
Yep.
And please state your name and address when you come up.
Okay. I am Wesley Bulla. I live at 108 General J.B. Hood Drive in Franklin, Tennessee. This is my sister Denise Heckman, and she lives at 300 Oak Grove Drive, Graham, North Carolina, where we both grew up, actually. So I do have a plot of where we want the colors on the building. The colors are the historic match to the original colors that were on the building as an SO station. These are the original SO. This is the SO color palette. So
Okay.
we'd like to get it back to that original color. It's been over the years changed a little bit. So our goal is to get it back to original colors and get it looking.
Yeah,
spiffy.
yeah.
I brought them for
Yeah,
you to
I see
see.
that. Great.
A couple of the color palettes. I actually have. No.
Just for fun, we have the colors with us.
Just for fun, I actually went to a local paint store and had them mix these to make sure we could get them the right colors. And they did an excellent job
Well,
of
thank
actually
you.
matching them up. So that's our goal and our request
In there.
to get the building looking a bit more spiffy than it is now.
What about the commission? What questions you might have for the applicant?
So is this going to be a service station again, or is it? Okay, okay.
It has no tanks or anything like that. So
Right.
it's-
We're wondering about the tanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
They were taken out in the 70s, late
Mm.
70s.
right. Do we have pictures of the historic SO station at all?
I haven't run across any of mom and dad's stuff.
Yeah.
Since they both passed away.
Sure,
There could be
They're probably
one
black
hidden
and white.
somewhere, but
sure.
probably even black and
And white, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
But this is what you remember and what you want to bring it back to.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, and the way it is now, the colors it is currently, with the exception, sometimes you can't control what tenants do.
sure.
You wake up and they've done something. We're done about 10 years ago with a grant from the commission.
Okay.
So
You must have gotten one of the facade grants then
Yeah.
earlier on.
it was a facade grant and it was in much poorer shape then. It really helped. So we appreciated that very much. So,
But when we were growing up and my father had the building, these are the colors that were, we
On.
both remember being on the building.
Yeah.
That traditional SO Exxon red, white and blue.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we went to Sherwin-Williams and Sherwin-Williams had nothing that was even anywhere near that would go on the building. All the reds were too dark,
Hmm.
you know, and
Yeah.
all of that. So
But you went directly to ESSO?
I'm sorry.
You went directly to ESSO then?
no,
So You found these on Exxon, didn't
Yeah,
you?
correct.
yeah, there's several pretty good resources that have collected up old logos and signage and
Yeah.
stuff like that and matched them up to the correct colors that they were originally.
Okay.
So
Can I ask what you plan on having in the building? What's your plans for the building?
well, we're going to lease it to a business. We have a couple of people interested in it at this
And-
point.
One
And
of them is a
No.
mechanic shop and one of them is a gentleman who sells, like car detailing products. car
Understand.
washes,
Okay, yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
So.
It'll be still automotive
Yep.
based.
Looks like it.
Potentially, that would be ideal.
Because
Um,
we
yeah.
do realize that there's restrictions as to what it can be because of the ground, like, you know, there's contamination, of course. It was a service station.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. So-
Hmm.
Will you be doing anything to the brick
No,
as far as,
other than trying to
Um,
clean it.
We're gonna
cleaning
get
it and-
clean- We're gonna get it clean the best we can and, you know,
Brick is tough
Yeah.
as it ages and, there's some places where people glued some signs to it and,
So
there's
we're gonna
residual
try.
glue on it and it's hard to get that stuff off without damaging the brick. So we really don't want to damage the building.
The other thing we're working on getting done is getting the windows fixed, and they will be fixed as close to the historic as what's out there now
Right.
that we can do. We want it back to that original,
do you?
as
Sure.
close as we can get it.
Right.
So the windows that are in there are probably still the original windows?
They
They
are.
are.
Wow.
A lot,
Yeah.
two or three of them, several of them are broken.
Yeah.
Um,
They've been painted over,
yeah, they've been painted over
stuff
and
like that. In that picture, well, you can see in the picture that I gave you, that some of them are like yellow, they've got yellow spray paint on them and
Yeah.
want to get all that off and get it looking.
And comparatively speaking, the building's bricks, so the parts that are gonna be painted are only, it's small parts,
Sure. It's all trim.
yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to put any, we're not going to cover any brick that hasn't been painted before. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Does the commission have any other questions? I don't have
I don't
one.
believe I do.
Did you have any idea as far as signage, like how you would put signage on it?
When you lease it.
We're working on it.
The lease has restrictions on what they can put on it. We have to approve it, and we even
Mhm.
mention the commission and that everything has to be approved. So
Mhm.
ideally, I'd like to see a historic looking sign with maybe whatever their name or whatever they do in the correct colors.
Yeah.
I would like to see something like that. So,
That looks sharp.
but
We'd like to have an old SO Exxon sign if we
Yeah.
could find one.
Yeah. yeah, or at least the shape of it with
Yeah.
their name on it or something like that. I think it would be really great to have it looking spiffy on the corner if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Okay, well, thank you for your comments.
I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah, that
Okay.
answered questions. Thanks.
Thank you.
Do you have there's nothing else y'all need to ask us as far as?
No,
Okay.
no.
All right.
You filled in the blanks for us. We
Okay.
had a couple blanks, but
Good.
Okay.
they're
All right.
they're filled in. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So you can be seated, and I'll ask now for a motion to close the public hearing,
I make a motion that we close the public,
Second.
hearing.
and we'll vote aye on that.
Aye.
Aye.
We need a motion for finding fact. Oh, okay.
Let me see. I think we just discussed now. Right? We don't need a motion. We don't need a motion to discuss. Yeah. We don't need a motion to.
Mm.
I don't have any issues.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clearly clearly they wanted to ask that.
Make a motion.
We closed the public hearing, and he said we
Okay,
don't
thank
need a
you.
motion for us.
Right. We just.
Yeah, I call for a motion to approve the COA.
Okay. I have thoroughly researched the application and all other documents related to COA 2420, and I am familiar with the property in question. And I find that if produced in accordance with the plan submitted, the proposed changes will be compatible with the character of the mid-19th century Courthouse Square Historic District. I move to approve the application for COA 2420 for the property located at 129 West Hardin Street as submitted because it does meet the following criteria. The proposed change does meet the historic resources design guideline standards, and therefore the proposed changes are compatible with the character of the district.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you for coming in and
Do
clearing
you-
up questions.
Do you
Good
want
luck.
your pictures back?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Evan,
If-
do you need them for record?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Why don't you
they're,
return one and
I
keep
think they're
one?
great, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't you?
Yeah, that'd
While
be
you're,
great.
while you're,
Sure.
uh,
Well,
thank you, Joey. I was wondering at what point it would be good to hear that.
I don't remember the name of the family that owned it, the gentleman owned it before my dad, but in the fifties, it was actually willed to the University of North Carolina in Greensboro. I found that in some documents at home. So my dad purchased it in early 1960s
60s.
Wow.
Yeah.
from the University of North Carolina. And I have his original notes and how much he paid on it, and then the payoff, the title payoff from this. So that's how it got in the family. And then he built the back part on, it was just the original service station, which is mainly up to that little line there. There's a whole, almost a 6-car garage behind it that they built on. We do have photos of that,
Do you?
of them building that part of it. And then my sister and I both grew up
In the service station.
playing in the building
Yeah.
when we were kids, and I worked there as a teenager pumping gas in the, oh gosh, 60s and 70s, late 60s,
70s.
early 70s. And then he had a tire capping and gas station and all body shop.
He was a full service gas station.
Yeah.
He wiped your windows, did everything,
Yeah.
and then did your tires and all that
Yeah.
stuff too, so.
So,
And then he
so,
kept it till he became fire chief, didn't he?
yep, when he became fire chief, well, a little bit before that, he got out of the gas station business and briefly got into real estate, and he became fire chief. And spent the rest of his career as fire chief.
But he kept the
Here.
building and.
Kept the building, it's been rented out, leased out for decades, mostly to some kind of
Or maintenance.
car maintenance or tire
Service,
service
yeah.
or anything. We did have a tenant in there for about 10 years. It was a tire service.
Right.
Up until our dad passed away 2 years ago. And we started the process of possibly selling it, or we ultimately decided we would keep it and try to fix it up.
Well, thank you for adding to downtown. I'll put my other hat on. I'm also on the Graham Historical Museum Advisory Board.
Okay?
And I would suggest to you that as you get your tenant in there, as you're looking for someone to occupy the building, perhaps put together something in a frame that encapsulates what you just
Oh, yeah.
provided, that, hey, we grew up here, this is where we played, just that history, and ask them if they would post that
Yeah.
inside the
I'd be-
building. That would,
I've not thought about putting something like that together. I do have all the original documents from the business that my dad had there from the very beginning. Is when we moved him out of their house here.
I don't know about the original. You might want to put a copy in there. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That would be a nice touch. And ask Lee C if they would put it someplace where the,
Yeah.
Graham residents and visitors could see. Yeah, copies of photos,
Oh, yeah.
whatever you would think would be appropriate to help provide that lineage from your family's ownership to
Right.
current downtown use.
I'm pretty sure the documents before my dad, when he bought it, has even further back. The building was built in the 1930s.
See, that would be nice to know.
So
And
we probably got even that, because it would have referenced those original owners in the title changes.
Wow.
So we may have that history all the way back
And-
to the
and
original.
Both of the two people that are currently interested in renting it are from this area.
From this
They're
area.
From Graham, they're from this
Yeah,
area, so
so-
they knew the property.
Right.
So,
So,
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you for sharing that.
welcome. Thank you. Had that
Sounds
one.
like a
I know we should have.
good update for downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got too many other things running through your head. You don't think
Yeah,
about stuff.
I know.
So,
Thank you very much.
thank you,
All right.
and thank you all
Thank you.
very much for hearing.
Thank you
us.
for coming in. Yeah. Additional items? I guess if we have any updates from the staff, is there anything going on, Evan, that we need to hear about or redirect us?
On the staff side, I don't really have anything, just kind of everybody's restarting for the new year, so I'm sure we'll have a lot of things coming in. I don't have anything exactly on my mind for next month, but if a COA comes across, we'll definitely start to meet, and, I'll let Mr. Parsons, if he has any
Yeah.
updates. I don't have.
I'd like to thank you for sending out reminder emails because it's very helpful. So we appreciate
our
your
best.
work.
I understand things can get, put on the back burner. I'll let you know a week ahead. I'll try to
Just thank
update
you.
you too. Yeah.
Joey, as our liaison to council, do you have anything? Okay. Well, then I guess I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
I second that.
We'll vote aye.
Aye.